What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Broadway Joel. As you guys can see, I am not home, and usually when you guys see this background, you guys know I'm not home. I will be going live. Uh, any questions you guys have to ask, please feel free to ask. I'm willing to. Hold on one second. I'm trying to post a link in case anybody wants to call in. Just because I'm not in the studio does not mean that anything changes. If you guys want to call in and have a conversation with me, you are more than welcome to. Let me see if I could pin that to the chat right now real quick. That way, you know. Oh, all right. All right. Thanks, Michael. You can't. So I had it on mute. I had it on mute, and I'm over here talking. So sorry for the slow start. But yeah. So basically, before I wanted. So what I'm saying is, before I go off on this week's boxing news, I wanted to talk about last weekend with Javier Fortuna and Ryan Garcia. The fight pretty much went how I predicted. It. I said, Ryan Garcia is a younger, faster, stronger fighter. He should have all the advantages, and he should get the knockout, and he did. And if you watched the live fight party with me that I did, I went live and watched the fight and commented as the fight was going along. I picked the over under on the betting was over 6.5 for the knockout or under. I said under, and he got knocked out in the 6th. So it went pretty much exactly how I thought it was. Fortuna came in horrible shape. It was the fight was at 140 at the request of Javier Fortuna. He rehydrated and became even heavier than Ryan Garcia, which lets you know he came into that fight in horrible shape, and it showed. He got dropped 3 times. It got stopped, and honestly, for being honest, he kind of quit at the end. He was down in the ground, kind of let himself get counted out, got up real quick. And I'm not going to judge him too hard because it's pretty clear he wasn't going to win. He wasn't landing anything clean on Ryan Garcia at all. And that was pretty much the only chance he had. That's what I kept saying. I was like, hey, listen, if he could land something hard and on Ryan, he can win this fight. But he couldn't land anything, let alone anything hard. Hold on one second. Let me plug in my phone. But what's going on, Carlos Montes, my man? What's going on, brother? Yeah, everything good with me. What's good with you? But since Ryan Garcia he did what he was supposed to do. And by the way, Ryan Garcia looked big. He looked big in that at 140. He mentioned that he's not moving back down to 135. That he's gonna stay at 140. And if the fight with Tank can be made at 140. That he wants to fight Teofimo next. And, Ryan Garcia, you can never take what he says 100% because he has said a bunch of things. He has said he's going to fight Pacquiao. He has said he's going to fight Tank. He has called out Isaac Cruz and Devin Haney and a bunch of names and has never, went through with these things. So I don't know. You have to take everything he says with a grain of salt. But I actually believe him because he did look strong at 140, like just his body physique. And then, at the weigh-in, his cheeks were sunken in a little bit. And, this is 5 pounds over the weight limit he would have been fighting at. So I think he probably makes 140 a lot more comfortable than he does 135. And to be honest, I'm going to take him at his word, although there is a lot more money opportunity in terms of names at 135, whether it be Tank or Haney or Loma. You know, if you can't make the weight, you can't make the weight. And I'm not sure he could make the weight. You know, not saying his last fight against Manuel Togo was also at a catchweight. I believe it's at 139. So that's still a junior welterweight fight. So he hasn't made 135 since Luke Campbell? When was that? You know, how long ago was that? That was 3 fights ago. And as far as date, I can't really think the exact date, but I think it was like February of 2021. I could be wrong on that, but if I'm not mistaken, that's when the last time he made 135. You know, he's a young kid. He's 22, 23. It's not weird for him to grow 5 pounds and not be able to make a weight class he was been making since his pro debut. So things are real interesting. 140 is one of the deepest divisions in boxing. It's one of the divisions where, you know, if you're not on point, you will get slept. That's just me being honest. Listen to the names at 140. And if you guys watch my channel, you guys know I'm really high on the 140-pound division. You got names like Gary Antoine Russell, Subriel Matias, Alberto Puello, Elvis Rodriguez, Arnold Barboza, Regis Prograis, Montana Love, Josh Taylor, Jose Ramirez, Jose Zepeda, Teofimo, Devin may be moving up soon. You know, just name, like I just mentioned off the top of my head, what I just mentioned, 8, 10 fighters off the top of my head, and every guy I just mentioned has an argument that they could beat any other the other guys I mentioned at any moment. Like, this is a really deep division. Doesn't have particularly the name, the firepower that a 135-pound division has. Like 135, nobody at 140 is as popular as Tank. Or even Loma. I wouldn't say anybody at 135 is more popular than 140 is more popular than Loma. Like, think of who. Josh Taylor's not that popular. He's an accomplished, former undisputed champion before he vacated those 2 belts, but he's still not as popular as Loma. Like, I guess you could say Tio, but Tio still hasn't even fought. Let's see Tio in the ring. I know he got a fight scheduled, but still, let's see him in the ring and let's see how he looks. You know, he has a lot of mental issues going on. A lot of problems. Let's see how he looks. But, yeah. So, since now that we're done with the Ryan Garcia, Javier Fortuna talk, as far as recapping what happened last Saturday, I wanted to talk about today. The WBO has ordered Demetrius Andrade to defend his 160-pound title against Janibek, the 160-pounder. This is an interesting matchup. Janibek is definitely not a popular fighter, but he did have a very impressive knockout in his last fight against Danny Dignam. Who's Danny Dignam? I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to say that was one of the best middleweights he could have faced, but if we're being honest, nobody's really facing each other in the middleweight division anyways. You know, who is Charlos facing? Who is Munguia facing? I guess you could say Triple G faced Murata, but both of those guys had been coming off such long layoff. You don't know how to assess that win. I do like the fight. Ezra from the Ezra podcast is really high on Janibek. Thinks he's one of the best middleweights. I believe he thinks he's the best middleweight. You know, Kazakh style is what they call his style of fighting. I'm interested as to seeing how that plays out, because as of right now, Andrade don't got an obvious opponent. Like, who is, if he doesn't fight Janibek, let's say he vacates, who does he fight? He's no longer the mandatory at 168. The WBO stripped him of that. I guess due to the fact that he got injured while the fight with him and Zach Parker for the WBO interim was being negotiated. So they just moved him out of that position. And now they're saying, hey, listen, you still got the 160 belt, but we're ordering it. If you want to keep it, you have to defend it. And to be honest, he has such little negotiating power in terms of boxing that him not defending it would make him devalue him even more. At least now, if he defends his title, he keeps his belt, and he still has that to, like, entice somebody on a unification or entice somebody on even just getting him a fight. I know it hasn't worked, since it's happened, but it's your best shot right now. Right now, Andrade has fought absolutely nobody of note, but if he has that belt, he definitely could show, probably convince somebody to fight him. Also, another fight that was ordered was Bivol versus Zurdo. Zurdo, my bad. I actually was surprised that this fight got ordered, considering it's the WBA, and the WBA is always jerking around. But that's a great fight in the in-between where Bivol is waiting for the Canelo or Triple G winner. That's a good fight, Bivol versus Zurdo. Especially, I feel like Bivol hit the lotto when he got the Canelo fight, because not only did he beat him clearly, I thought. Now he's getting the Zurdo fight against another Mexican, and I think he beats Zurdo. I think he beats Zurdo. I don't think Gilberto Ramirez has anything to offer. I find him slow at times. I find him too willing to engage, and so I like that fight. I like that fight between them two. I mean, for Bivol, I'm saying I like that fight for Bivol. So he'll be two Mexicans back to back, and then possibly get a second fight with Canelo. So there'll be three Mexicans in a row. And if we're being honest, a lot of times, the Mexican market is viewed as the more valuable market in boxing. Like Pacquiao got famous off of beating a lot of Mexicans. Mayweather got famous off of beating a lot of Mexicans. Even Roger Mayweather was beating a lot of Mexicans at one point until he faced Chavez twice, and Chavez knocked him out twice. But for whatever reason, beating a lot of Mexicans tends to get you more popularity. And if Bivol could beat Canelo, which he already did, then Zurdo, then Canelo again, his stock only goes up from here. And honestly, the light heavyweight division has never really been a money division. Even when Andre Ward was there, was it a really money division? No. The Kovalev, that era wasn't really making money. Roy Jones was making money, but not crazy money like that. Neither was Hopkins. I can't really think of a superstar at the light heavyweight division, but beating Canelo twice and Zurdo, who's a decent name in boxing, I can't see that not helping him. You know what I'm saying? That not making him a lot more popular amongst the boxing casuals, especially amongst the Mexican community. I mean, this is a big this year is a big opportunity for Bivol. If he could defend his title that was mandated against Ramirez and then fight Canelo, the world's on his hands. And also, I want to, did you guys see Broner get mad at the press conference? The fact that the press conference was held remotely as opposed to in person. He said, I'm paraphrasing, I'm not quoting him. He said something to the effect that Al Heyman and Steven Espinoza are bullshitting. That's an exact quote. He said they bullshitting, making this a remote press conference when it should have been live. He goes, man, you got these YouTubers getting live press conferences, but me coming back against Omar Figueroa, now I get a remote press conference. He actually walked out the virtual press conference. He was like, man, I'm done with this. And he walked out. I'm sure that's not going to gain him any favors, particularly with Al Heyman and Showtime. But, I can't say that behavior surprised me. That AB is known for doing antics and sometimes being disrespectful. I don't know if you guys remember when it was funny, but I don't want to say it was the right thing to do when he was telling what's his name, Leonard Ellaby to shut that soft shit up, to calling him a bitch ass, and it's like, bro, one, you can't burn that many bridges, and two, you shouldn't be talking like that anyways. On top of the fact that you're somewhat of a role model, you're also in the sense of just decent human. Decency amongst human interaction. You got to know what to do and what to say and what, when and where and all that. And I feel like he's very unaware. I don't think this is a fight that necessarily needed in-person press conference. I think a virtual press conference was appropriate. This isn't a big fight. This isn't a fight that is on pay-per-view. I don't hear people debating this on any Twitter spaces or any Twitter thread that I've seen, and I'm pretty active on Twitter. And I'm active on these YouTube channels. Like sometimes I'm on these channels or I'm just watching it as a fan, just like how you guys are watching me. And I haven't heard nobody debate Omar Figueroa versus Adrian Broner. I've heard of people talk about the fight as it coming back, but not in an exciting way. Now on the undercard, I'm particularly interested in the undercard of Adrian Broner versus Omar Figueroa because two Dominicans, Bento Puello and Hector Luis Garcia, are both going to be fighting for titles on the undercard. But that's me. And, you know, right now I have 11 viewers. Some of y'all may be Dominican and some of y'all may be excited for the undercard as well. But if we're being honest, that main event ain't. That main event ain't it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not a main event like you cancel plans to go to. Or you arguing at the barbershop as to who's going to win. So I'm not sure why he was so angry about not getting an actual press conference and getting a digital press conference. But, you know, I guess that's just the way he is. By the way, tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, I will be interviewing Elvis Rodriguez's manager. I believe his first name is Benjamin, but he goes by Benny. So Benny Liabin, I can't pronounce his last name, but I will be interviewing him tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. For those who want to come join me and check out, I have a lot of good questions for him. Right now he manages the Dominican I'm most high on, the Dominican that I think has the most potential to be successful in the future is Elvis Rodriguez, and he's his manager. And I have a lot of questions for him. And I also want to know who else he manages and how did he find Elvis? There's a lot of good questions I have for him. So tomorrow, again, if you guys are interested in that, please go check out that interview tomorrow morning, excuse me. Ari says, AB's a clown. Just a fan. Salute Broadway. Joel, salute to you, just a fan. Ron Boy Fresh, what's good, Slim? What's going on, brother? By the way, if anybody wants to talk to me directly, y'all just click that link at the top of the chat. It'll take you to a website, and we can have a conversation. Same way we do in the Twitter space. Same way we do over the phone or in person. You guys can call in. I can see you. And if you don't want me to see you, you only want me to hear your voice, we can do that too. Link is pinned to the top of the chat. But, yeah, by the way, am I allowed to get super chats? Somebody super chat me something, man. I don't know. I got 1,000 subscribers, man. I got 1,000 subscribers, and I got over 4,000 hours viewed, so I'm eligible to be monetized, but I'm not sure if I could get super chats yet. So if anybody wants to try that out and be a part of history as the first person to ever send me a super chat, please do. But yeah, man, what are you guys' opinion about Andrade, Janibek, or Zurdo versus Bivol being ordered? Those are two fights that, one fight, Andrade versus Janibek, not many people were asking for, but it's honestly at the middleweight division, I'll just take it, man. I'll take it. Middleweight division has been so bad in terms of matchmaking, in terms of us getting fights we want or unifications and stuff like that, that at this point, I'll take that for the middleweight division. And as far as Bivol versus Zurdo, I actually like the fight. 2 top 10 light heavyweights. A fight that's been overdue, I feel. And a fight that just makes sense. While Canelo's fighting Triple G, he's going to be busy. He can't fight Bivol. You know what you do? You put Bivol in against Zurdo. That's not only a fight that makes sense financially due to the Mexican fan base that Zurdo is going to bring. It also makes a sense, competition-wise. He's a top 10 light heavyweight. And it just makes sense in period. Like, what is Bivol supposed to do? Just sit around and wait? Like, it's crazy. It's not available in the live chat. There is no super chat option. Damn. I got to get that fixed. It's all good, though. I just wanted to see if it was an option. Again, I just got my page monetized. I got to figure that out. How do I get able to get sent super chats? Because You know, help out the channel, support the channel. I actually got to build up. I got to build up my website. I want to start making T-shirts. Whether it just be quotes that I usually use. You know, there's a lot of like words that I just stay using, and also you know, Dominican slang or other shirts. I want to start making shirts. I want to start writing articles. So I want to build up a nice website where I'm writing articles, where I'm selling shirts, selling banners and headbands and stuff like that. But I just got to get all that together right now. You know, I'm working a lot behind the scenes, and also, man, setting up interviews. I got a lot of good interviews. Tomorrow being one of them. Tomorrow, Elvis Rodriguez manager. A lot of people got. When I'm on these Twitter spaces, they ask me questions about him, and I'm answering them, but sometimes it just doesn't seem to get through to people. So now I got the manager on all the questions you guys got from me. You guys can ask him yourself, as well as watch me ask him the questions. All right. Bivol is just a hard stylistic matchup. I would rather see Bivol versus Arthur, obviously. But yeah, I know. I would love to see him against Beterbiev, but Beterbiev is on ESPN, and what's his name? Bob Arum said he's not interested in an undisputed fight. And I think he beats Beterbiev. I think he outboxes him, and he hits hard enough and is disciplined enough to keep Beterbiev away from him. I really do. I really do. Are you able to see the comments from? You said Twitter, but I'm assuming you meant Twitter. I don't think so. I'm able to see the comments from Facebook and YouTube. I don't believe I'm able to see the ones from Twitter. The middleweight division is whack right now. They're not fighting each other. They just be random. Yeah, man. Like right now, off the top of your head, without using Google, who's the last guy that Munguia fought? You don't know who. You know, like, all right, you know that, what's his name, Charlo fought Juan Montiel, but it's like, really, is that a fight you wanted to see? You know, Andrade, what his last fight at middleweight was, who was it? Liam something, one of these European dudes that you guys complained that Canelo fights Europeans, but when Andrade does it, it's all good, right? And then I guess you had Triple G Murata, and those are two dudes who had belts, but they were coming off 2-year layoffs. So it's like the middleweight division is trash. And what's a shame is that it's one of the glamour divisions. It's one of the most historic divisions in boxing. Listen to the middleweight champions: Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Robinson. These are all in the middleweight division. Bernard Hopkins, you know, Roy Jones. All middleweight, man. The middleweight, Carlos Monzon. I could keep going. Y'all want me to keep going? Historic middleweights that were household names when they were in their prime. And now the middleweight division is just going down the fucking drain because these dudes won't fight each other. It's crazy. You will see Beterbiev Bivol next year. Book it, Slim. Ron Boy, I hope you're right. That's a fight that I want to see. Beterbiev is a very, very offensive fighter, 100% knockout ratio. The record speaks for itself. And Bivol is a skilled boxer with a fantastic jab and good footwork. And if you don't believe me, go watch the Canelo fight. And you tell me that he doesn't have a good jab. You tell me he doesn't have a good footwork. So it's a classic brawler versus boxer matchup. Unfortunately, both fighters in particularly are not that popular as of now. But if Bivol could beat Zoldo and then beat Canelo, I do believe that his popularity will rise and possibly create a demand for an undisputed fight against Beterbiev. I like that fight. It's one of the best fights that can be made in boxing. Again, undisputed brawler, 100% knockout ratio versus an undefeated skilled boxer. You know, I can't picture a lot of matchups being better than that. It's for all the marbles, lineal, undisputed, everything you can think of. You know, and I would love that. I would love that fight to happen. Bob, I'm already told you about that fight. He's not trying to make it. I agree. Yet people still ignore that. And the reason why I agree is because I think Bob Arum knows his fighter loses that fight. I think Bob Arum will pick Bivol. I'll be honest with you. I think that's more what it is, because if he was confident in his fighter, he wouldn't have dismissed it so much. He just would have been like, "Yo, I'm willing to make it. Just has to be on ESPN." But he didn't say that. He said, "Oh, I'm not willing to send my fighters on the zone, and they're not winning the fight on ESPN, so the fight's never gonna happen." So we're just taking him at his word. At this point, Bob Arum don't lie. At this point, he's old enough where he just don't give a fuck. He's like, "Yo, man, listen, I'm not making it. I'm keeping everything in house." But to be fair, to Ron Boy's point, when are they gonna like? All right, you're not gonna fight Bivol. Who you gonna fight at light heavyweight? I don't know. I don't know who, because Zula Ramirez is gonna fight Joe. I was gonna say Joe Smith. Gonna fight Bivol. You gonna fight Buatsi? Yo, Beterbiev knocks him out in 3 and 1. Matter of fact, first round. I'm calling first round knockout. Beterbiev fights Buatsi. You know what I'm saying? So I do think to myself, like, it's gonna get to a point where it's like no fight makes sense. And you know, and Beterbiev is an older fighter, so if anything, the better chance he has is right now. Because Bivol is what, 31, 32? I think Beterbiev is 37, 38. So, you know, if the fight is gonna happen, the undisputed fight, it has to be within the next year or so. Because if not, you know, he may end up losing the title. You know, just off age, or he may just retire. He may, you know, 38, 39. That's an advanced age to be taking punches. So let's say he reaches 40 and he still stays undefeated. Let's just say he reaches 40, and now they want to make the undisputed fight. But then he goes, "Yo, I'm 40 years old, man. I'm taking a lot of punches, man. I'm done with this boxing stuff. I'm gonna retire." And you just lost out on an undisputed fight because you didn't want to work with another promoter. It's kind of corny, but you know, we'll see. So we cherry picking when to believe Bob again. I see. Listen, you know when I'm gonna believe Bob? When he's telling me he's not willing to make a fight, because he has a track record of being in the middle of fights not happening. So I'm definitely gonna take him at his word for a fight not happening. After Beterbiev dispatch Yard, which, by the way, that's the only prediction you can have. Beterbiev is gonna knock out Anthony Yard. Top Rank gonna bust a move. I mean, I hope so. I hope you're right. Again, that's one of the best fights that can happen in boxing. And I challenge you, not you in particularly, Ron Boy. I'm talking about in general. And I challenge you to tell me that that's not one of the best fights that can happen in boxing. Monetarily, I'm not in their pockets. I'm not a promoter. I'm not their manager. I don't give a fuck about the money. That has absolutely nothing to do with me wanting to watch that fight. Whether it sells 1 million pay-per-views or if it's free on ESPN or free on the zone, I have absolutely, positively no care in the world about it doing it financially. But in the ring, that has one of the most interesting style matchups that could happen in boxing. Is Bivol versus Beterbiev fighting next? No. So Bob telling you the truth in that particular situation. Come on, but that's you being picky. Come on, brother. Like, you know, I hate he means like in general, like, all right, like in a year or so, maybe after their next fight. So, you know, something like that. Like, honestly, it would be stupid for Bivol to take that fight. Like, you got a Canelo payday on the way, and you got a mandatory that you could take care of, which is gonna be a good financial payday in Zurdo Ramirez. You take that fight, you take care of your mandatory, which you're going to make decent money. You're going to be a billionaire? No, but you're going to make decent money. Then the next fight, you fight Canelo for what, 10, 15 million? I have no idea. No, not 15 million. You hear me? No, you probably, no less than 5 million. He's fighting for Canelo in the second time. No less than 5. I have no idea. No insight as to what he's getting paid. I don't want to make it seem like I'm reporting news. But you're going to make good money. Take care of that. Then after that, you got to look like, all right, I'm done with my side of the street, so to speak. You know, I want to fight for undisputed. So it just makes sense for Bivol and for Beterbiev. So right now, what is looking like he's going to fight Yard in the UK, and then I would imagine Buatsi. I don't know. We'll see. Bob also said he would never pay more than 1.5 million for Porter. Also, yeah, I mean that's true. That's true. But like I said, so is Doo Andrade, not Boo Boo Andrade. He called him Doo Andrade, going to fight or duck Janibek, then try to declare he's the boogeyman still? We don't know what he's going to do. He has 30 days as of today to negotiate with Janibek, and if they don't come to a deal, there will be a scheduled purse bid. If in the event that it goes to a purse bid and he decides to vacate, then yes, I want to say I guess that's a duck, but it depends who he fights. You know, if he vacates the belt, then fights Benavidez at 168, which I don't think will happen because I spoke to Sam Lukowitz personally. Or if he vacates and then fights Charlo, vacates and then fights Munguia. You know, it depends who he fights. But it's a mandatory. It's a fight that in the interim, if he's not going to fight anybody of note, whether it be Carlos Adames or the other guys I just mentioned, I'll take that fight. That's not a horrible fight considering the middleweight landscape. It's a horrible fight in a sense, like in terms of interest, but the way the middleweight division is, how tough it is to make a fight, how the history he's had with Showtime and PBC and now DAZN, I don't think that him going to ESPN and fighting his mandatory in Janibek is exactly the bad idea. I think that's what he should do, but we'll see. That was a mandatory, had no option but to pay Porter. All right, that's a good point. I forgot he was a mandatory because it was either pay him or vacate or go to purse bid, and we know Top Rank don't want to let fights go to purse bid after that T.O. situation. T.O. ordered a T.O. went to the purse bid and Triller won, and then they went to DAZN, and then and his man came back without the belt. So it's like I doubt that Bob wanted to let to go the purse bid the Porter fight or this fight. I mean, the Andrade Janibek fight, that one, I'm not sure what happened. ESPN is not too invested in Janibek where they would be opposed to sending him to DAZN. But I also know Bob Arum, and he doesn't, he wants as many fights on ESPN as possible. So this may go to purse bid, hopefully not. Hopefully they announce something soon. That this is a fight that negotiation shouldn't be hard. One guy's the champion, the other guy is not. Andrade has fought on HBO, DAZN, Showtime. Did he fight on Fox? I could be wrong. No, he ain't fight on Fox. But point is, he's fought, and although he's not the most super duper popular fighter, I'm not going to say, but he's definitely more known than Janibek. So the negotiations for this fight shouldn't be that difficult. You guys come to an agreement as to what Janibek is worth and pay him, bring him to DAZN. If you want the fight on ESPN, you got to negotiate with what Andrade's want to get paid, and they're not going to be willing to pay him what DAZN is paying Andrade. So it's a matter of negotiating. And again, if it goes to purse bid, I see Andrade vacating. I really don't. I don't see. I don't see it going too much. By the way, guys, the link is pinned to the top of the chat. If anybody wants to call in, ask me a question, or just have a debate, or have a conversation with me, just click that link that's on the top of the chat on YouTube. It'll take you to a website. From there, you come in, we can call in, and we can have a conversation. But yeah, man, there's a lot going on. By the way, ESPN, I feel like they've been slacking with the content, man. Like, I feel like, when's the last time you really got excited for a fight on ESPN? I can't think of one. Maybe one is slipping my mind, because, I mean, I guess Shakur Valdez was a good fight, but that landed on the same day as, Serrano Taylor. And but yeah, it was a good, that was a fight I anticipated. Didn't end up being as good as I wanted it to be, but it was a fight that I was anticipating. But yeah, like for the most part, I feel like ESPN has a weak schedule. That I feel like DAZN is really stepping up they content, like especially at the lower weight divisions. They got Chocolatico, they got Martinez, they got Estrada, they got Bam Rodriguez. They got a lot of good fighters at the lower weights. And then even some of these UK cards been interesting. As of right now, knockout of the year in my book has happened on DAZN. It's Lee Wood versus Michael Conlon, or Mick Conlon. What's it called? I think it's Mick Conlon. That knockout in the 12th round, to me, was knockout of the year. Happened on DAZN. And then Joe Cordina knocking out Kenichi Ogawa is a candidate. I don't think it supersedes the Lee Wood knockout of Mick Conlon, but it's definitely in the running. It's definitely nominated. And so, like, DAZN has been giving us better content than ESPN, if we want to be honest. For real. De lo mío! What's up, Francisco? Que lo que, mi hermano? If you want to call in, the link is pinned to the top of the chat. We can call in. You can ask me any question on the Dominican fighter. You know, this channel is a safe space for Dominican boxing fans. That's the best part about it. You call into one of these other shows, they're going to be like, man, I don't want to talk about that Dominican. Man, who cares about, Carlos Adames? Who cares about Hector Luis Garcia? On this channel, you call in, you ask a question, whether it be in the chat or you calling in, you're going to get it answered if I have the answers to it. Or I'll find out. I'll find out for the next show, or I'll tweet out the question after I hit my contacts up. By the way, man, Hector Luis Garcia, I'm not saying he's the best Dominican, but he may be my personal favorite. Like, just my favorite out of those. Just off the relationship we have, he is mad cool. Like, he got mad love for me. He really appreciates what I'm doing for the sport, for Dominicans. That's one thing he made it real clear when I met him in person in Vegas. He was like, yo, man, like, what you doing for the Dominicans, giving us interviews, you coming out to my training camp. I really, really appreciate it. Like, mad cool. Anytime I have a question, I'll text him. He responds right away. He tells me anytime I want him on the show, I can have him on. I haven't had him on the show because I want him to focus on his training. I don't want to, like, let's work out of time. And now he's thinking about working out of time for me to interview him when he should be focusing on the fight. So, but shout out to Hector Luis Garcia, man. I got a clip, and I still haven't put it out. I don't know why I'm holding on to it, why I haven't put it out. But I got a clip of Hector Luis Garcia, man, telling me, yo, how Dominicans run this me outside gym. They're like, yo, Dominicans, we run that shit. Anybody who comes in talking tough, they put it in with a spar with a Dominican, and they leave out quiet. Like, he had me hyped, man. He had me like, he didn't say this, but he had me feeling like, yo, bro, you could talk shit, man. Dominicans are up now. But I've been feeling like that lately. I've been like, yo, estos no son los dominicanos de antes. These ain't the Dominicans from the past. These ain't the Dominicans of the past. They used to lay down and fake injuries and be an easy fight. Dominicans, the ones that are coming up now, Elvis Rodriguez, Michelle Rivera, Hector Luis Garcia, these guys, they coming in to fight. They're skilled fighters. They're coming in shape. And I'm excited for the future of Dominican boxing, as well as the future of my channel, because not only am I predicting that they're gonna be successful, if they're successful, I'm the voice of Dominican boxing. So, I'm going to be successful, and I have contacts to all of them. Every single one of them. You've seen my channel. You've seen all the guys I interview. So it's definitely excited what's going on in the island. And hopefully we could keep getting these Dominican prospects coming up. And hopefully one day we get a heavyweight, man. I need a Dominican heavyweight champion. I need one of them. But that's enough about Dominicans. Unless y'all want to call in or ask me something in the chat. But as of right now, by the way, boxing slowed down a bit. And by the way, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining, because we did have a great run of fights from like March to like June. Like, it was just every weekend was either a fighter fighting someone, like a step-up fight or unification or whatever. It was just always, and sometimes there'll be 2-3 shows on one Saturday. So we just had a run of fights. But now the schedule has slowed down. We just had Garcia versus Fortuna. It was exciting to see Garcia back. But if we're being honest, it's not the matchup we wanted. This weekend we got was it Isaac Dogbay versus Joet Gonzalez. Good fight, but not one particularly we're excited for. And what fight we got after that? I think we have the Teofimo comeback, which, if you got, matter of fact, let's talk about that. Teofimo's coming back against Campa. That's a fighter who is in the mix between 135 and 140, two of the hottest divisions in boxing. I'm not going to rehash how hot the 140-pound division. I won't tire you guys out with that. But he's in a perfect division. Top Rankers positioned to give him fights, whether it be against Josh Taylor, Jose Ramirez, Jose Zepeda, and so on and so forth. But we don't know what he is. Is he mentally okay? I have no idea, I'll be honest with you. I'll be lying to you if I told you, yeah, of course. But then he gives an interview saying all these types of weird shit, not accepting the Camboso's loss, feeling like he got robbed. Even though if you saw the fight, and I was there live, you got to be honest with yourself. You lost the fight, bro. And he doesn't seem to have accepted it. I have heard that he brought Joey Gamache back into his training camp, which, excites me because a lot of the mistakes from his last fight in the Camboso fight, a lot of people attributed to Joey Gamache not being in the corner anymore. And if he has him back in the corner, thank God. But Teofimo is a trash talker. He is somebody who's very confident in his skills, who has power, is a counterpuncher. He's good for boxing if he's performing. If he's in the ring right now fighting, that he's good for boxing. But as of right now, I can't justifiably say he's back and he's good and he's gonna walk through fighters and knock this guy out and then he's ready for the top guys. I need to see a little bit more of him. I need to see how he looks, how he performs, and as well as the post interview. He says a lot. Like, I wish sometimes it's not even like what he says, is that he'll go off on these rants on the interview, and the interview started off fine, but the fact that he was talking for so long, then he started saying shit like that makes us not like him, that makes us question his mental health. So if he has his mental health together, I think he could be a problem, man. He can fight anybody. I was picking him to beat everybody at 135. I was picking him to beat Tank. I was picking him to beat Haney. I was picking him to beat Loma. Well, I did pick him to beat Loma. He did beat Loma. And I was picking him to beat Ryan. But he lost to Camboso, so that, but that had a bunch of circumstances tied to it. And now he's moving up to a new division. Let's see how he looks there. And it's been a long layoff. It's been almost a year. And let's see. Let's give this guy a chance. But him being in the sport is definitely good. D-Style, my man. Que lo que, mi hermano? What's good, my brother? That's one of my friends from YouTube. He's the boxing YouTuber. Definitely go support his channel. But yeah, I'm curious as to how Teofimo looks in this fight. I'm curious, He has been posting up on his Instagram a lot of videos of him working out, a lot of videos of him punching the bag. And one thing about Teo is he's always in shape. I've never seen him look fat and out of shape and none of that. So I hope he is still taking this boxing shit serious, man. Thomas Mayer, shout out to you. Love your channel and content, man. True boxing fan. Absolutely. I definitely am a true boxing fan. I try my best to be unbiased and give you guys the content that, the fans definitely deserve. And as well as serve my underserved community of my Dominican boxing fans who want to know a little bit more about the Dominican boxers. That's why I bring them in a little closer, give them interviews, give them access to ask them questions directly. So that's kind of like how my channel is. But I appreciate you liking the content, my brother. My man, Box Talk 101. This isn't your usual stream setup. What's up? Well, currently I'm not in New York City. I'm away from New York City, and but I'm streaming from my phone, and I'm dedicated to streaming every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. So that's just what I'm doing. Even if I'm on the road, I gotta serve my community, and my community deserves it, man. Keep up the great work, bro. Salute from Sweden. Wow, from Sweden. I got fans from Sweden. Shout out to you, bro. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, all of it. You know, and also if you want to ask me a question, click that link that's pinned to the top of the chat. It'll take you to a website and we can have a conversation, or you can ask me a question. But yeah, man, I'm out here working, man. I'm out here pounding the pavement. Shout out to everybody who showed up to the Boxing Voice interview. I definitely felt like it went well. I rewatched it the other day. What I liked about the interview most is that I came across as me. It didn't look like I was nervous. It didn't look like I was trying to be somebody who I wasn't. I was just me. Like when I look at it, I didn't see a fake facade of myself or somebody who was making it up as they go. I looked at it like that's how I talk, and I came across as knowledgeable. You know, I made a few arguments where I felt like I won. You know, I really liked the how the interview went, and shout out to Nesta Gibbs for giving me the platform and helping me get over the 1,000 subscriber mark. That was definitely a historic moment for me. Took me a lot to get to 1,000, but I'm there. And now the goal is 2,000. I got to double up. You know, the goal is now 2,000. So if you guys know any friends or gym members that like boxing, definitely show my YouTube page and have them subscribe. It'll help me out. You know, I'm trying to get to 2,000 now. You know, the goal, you know, the marathon don't stop. You know, I got to 1,000. That was the goal. It was hard. But now I got to go to 2,000. You know, I got to hustle. Yeah, man, this journey of YouTube ain't easy, man. It ain't easy. I'll tell you that much. It ain't easy, but it's worth it, man. It's fulfilling, and I've made some great connections. And trust me, man, big things are coming to the channel. Big things. Yeah, man. But anybody got any questions, man, let me know in the chat or call in, man. Definitely. So what are you guys' opinion of the Andrade being mandated to fight Janibek? Is that a fight that interests you? I've heard one person claim that, you know, if Andrade doesn't fight him, he's ducking. So, you know, oh, hold on. Que lo que, mani? I'm a new subscriber, bro. I saw you on TBV. Shout out to Adrian D for hitting that subscribe button from watching my interview. I really appreciate that. That definitely means a lot to me. You subscribe, and especially you talking like that. That means you Dominican talking like that. Que lo que? You definitely Dominican. So check out my content. I got a lot of interviews with Dominican fighters. Isn't Danny Garcia fighting next week? Yeah, but I'm not interested in that fight. Hold on. I got one of my subscribers, Coach Frank. What's going on, my brother?
Oh, nothing much. Hey, just want to throw it in there. You're right about Janibek getting ducked, though. If Boo doesn't fight him, then it's like you're ducking him. What else do you want from the guy? He's beating everybody else. Seems like to be one of those feared fighters.
Yeah, I mean, he's being feared. He's a feared fighter. Like, he doesn't draw enough money.
No. I didn't even learn about him until recently.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if he was a draw, you could say like, damn, he's a draw and he's in your division and you not trying to fight him, but he's an unknown fighter. I'm familiar with him because I'm a hardcore boxing fan, but I'm not going to say if Andrade doesn't fight him. Again, it depends who he fights next. If he doesn't fight him, but fights Charlo or fights Munguia or fight Carlos Adames or fights Andrade, I'm talking about Andrade himself, Benavidez, I'm not going to say he's ducking. It depends who he fights and how he goes about his career. But I'm glad that the WBO is pressing him to fight because he hasn't fought in a while.
Yeah, but he's talking all that crap. I mean, he's chasing Canelo so much. It's like, that ain't going to happen. He's not a big draw either. So,
yeah, no, he's not. And people need to stop waiting for Canelo. How about you earn a Canelo shot by fighting your
fighting Charlo, like you said.
Yeah, fight Charlo. Fight all these guys at the middleweight division. Fight 168 pounders. Move up. You say you want to fight Canelo, then fight somebody at 168 where Canelo can. The notion that Canelo doesn't want to fight these guys, but yet these guys don't fight each other is almost hilarious to me, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Oh, and then had to personally thank you for that interview, man. You were great. Kid loved it so much, man. You are the man. Seriously.
I appreciate it.
You know, all your fans, I want to know what a stand-up guy you are, how nice you are, everything, how true you are to your fans. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to brown nose here, but I got to give you all the respect in the world for it.
I appreciate it. But I'm gonna let you go. Thanks for calling in, brother.
Amen. Thank you, and good luck.
I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
All right. So for those that don't know, he lives in Vegas. So when I was out in Vegas for the Boxing Voice interview, he had DM'd me. He said that his son had a YouTube channel. He wanted to interview me. So I told him what hotel I was staying at. He pulled up with his son. They came. They brought their camera. They interviewed. They asked me a bunch of questions. I took pictures with them. They're fans. And yeah, I made their day. You know, like I'm not going to sit here and say like I'm some super duper celebrity, but to him, it meant a lot, you know, for me to talk to his son and interview with his son. His son's a fan and he's a fan as well. He's called in before. So, you know, if it made their day, it made mine. I'm so over Andrade. I can't blame you, bro. I can't blame you. I can't blame you. A lot of people are not, first of all, a lot of people don't like Andrade's style. And then on top of that, he hasn't fought not one former world champion, let alone a world champion, not one former world champion. Like, his resume is trash, I'll be honest with you. And, like, he's, like, in his mid-30s. Like, he don't got much left in his prime. And he might retire with never fighting a world champion, but being a two-division world champion. It's weird. But it's weird how boxing works sometimes. And I'm not going to put all the blame on him. But your resume is your resume. I can only critique you on based off who you fought, whether it be circumstance or not. I can only critique you. I can only talk about you in comparison to who you fought and who your contemporaries fought. That's why I always found it funny when there was one he was like hosting for DAZN. I forget what fight it was. He was like, "Who Canelo fought? Who he fought? You know, Matthew Hatton, old Shane Mosley." Miguel Cotto, brother, like bringing up these old fights. And Chris Mannix is trying to argue on behalf of Canelo. But I'm like, yo, bro, I would have been like, who are you fighting? Who? Name what? You at least can name fighters he fought. Who? We can't name fighters you fought. Liam Williams? That's probably your best win. And he just lost to Chris Eubank. You know what I'm saying? Like, Andrade's resume is absolute garbage. Garbage. But again, I can't fully blame. Obviously, so he does have some blame, you know, but some of it is due to circumstances, whether it be through promotional issues or whatever. New York in the building, another Plátano in here. Shout out to you, man. Definitely tell all your friends about this Plátano over here giving all the Dominicans interviews. Andrade is actually talented, but damn, his career has been horrible. Absolutely. Y'all never heard me say, come on here and be like, yo, Andrade is fucking trash. He should retire from boxing. He doesn't deserve to be in a boxing ring. He is one of the worst fighters. I've never talked like that. I just talk about his resume. And like, that's something objective. Whether you think he's the #1 pound for pound fighter or the worst fighter in boxing. One thing you can't debate is that his resume is doodle. He's out here fighting dudes, you know, Starbucks clerks and plumbers and substitute teachers and shit. Like, if we're being honest, his level of opposition hasn't been good. It has not. Andrade fights taxi cab drivers in the Dunkin Donuts arena in Rhode Island. Nah, man, it just looks bad, man. So fighting Janibek, at least as an undefeated fighter under his resume, it is somebody he's mandated. It is somebody who Ezra, who is a boxing YouTuber, is high on. And it is somebody who just came off a highlight reel knockout of the year type knockout, if we're being honest. That was a really, really sick knockout of Danny Digdom. Maybe he could play off that a little bit. But, it doesn't do much for the resume either, if we're being honest. If we're being honest, it doesn't do much for his resume. But it is a fight he should take. And my thing with Andrade is, if you can't get the fights you want, you should be fighting for it 5 times a year. Fight 4 or 5 times a year if you can't get the fights. That's what Tevin Farmer did. Tevin Farmer wanted the Tank fight. He couldn't get it. He fought 5 times in 1 year. Within 12 months. He fought 5 times. And that kept his name in the news, and it created a buzz. So, like, it's unfortunate Andrade is in this situation, but he needs to go about a better way of handling this shit, man. He needs to make his own lane instead of chasing Canelo cash tickets. I agree, man. You're not gonna talk your way into a Canelo fight. You're not gonna be a mandatory position into fighting Canelo. You're gonna fight Canelo when you earn it. When you fought enough fighters. Had he fought Triple G, Charlo, and Munguia, and some of those fights, you know, the other fighters weren't willing to meet him, if we're being honest. But had he fought those fighters, I doubt Canelo would not have fought him by now. I really do. I really, really do. 1, your name would be up, and 2, your resume will be good. Then the fans will be like, wait a minute, this guy beat Triple G, Charlo, and Munguia, and you won't fight him? What's up with you? But it's like, yo, this guy fought Liam Williams and all these other, Jason Quigley is like, yeah, I can see why you're not fighting him. You get what I'm saying? Andrade gonna duck, and his worshipers will give him a pass. Again, it depends who he fights. You know, if he vacates and fights some guy we never heard of, then yeah, that's a duck. But if he fights, you know, a viable opponent, I can't consider it a duck. But all right, guys, this is a short one. I appreciate you guys hopping on for a little less than an hour. Took a phone call and as well as answered a bunch of questions in the chat. I appreciate you guys. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, I will be interviewing Elvis Rodriguez's managers, Benny Lieben. He will be on the show. So if you guys definitely do not want to miss that. You do not want to miss that. If you guys have a question, whether it be regarding Elvis Rodriguez or anything else, the Kenneth Sims situations, his relationship with Top Rank, I will be asking all those questions. And I may even open up the floor after the interview for you guys to call in and ask your own questions. So tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific is a show you do not want to miss. Elvis Rodriguez manager, Benny Lieben. But all right, guys, hit that subscribe, hit that like button if you haven't already. Until next time, peace.